I come to learn that there were over hundreds of thousands of different types of rice. Dude, I only know like 3. Brown rice, yellow rice, and white rice. That's all I know.
I've recently come across black rice.
Right? Wild rice, black rice. I ate red rice over there. Like there was hundreds of thousands, and the Green Revolution, unfortunately, made them extinct. A lot of those rices were endangered species that were destroyed in the 1960s. Because what a lot of these companies started to do in the 1960s from the United States, because remember the United Nations is in the United States, right? There's a lot. Read Confessions of an Economic Hitman.
I've read that. Yes.
You'll see how a lot of these corporations worked with government
to get funding, and then they wound up being in debt.
Yes.
So now.
Yes. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And they were using a lot of chemicals that came from World War I, and they were putting them in household products. They were putting them in household products, and they were putting them in seeds. They were putting them in a lot of things that are in our house that we don't even know about. And then they were putting it into the water, right? This is why a lot of our water is filled with mercury and all types of metals that we had no. In the 1960s, you could have drank water off the faucet right here. Right here, I'd be like, yo, God, I'm thirsty, I'm gonna go real quick to the bathroom and just
right.
Can't do that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I went to a college where the natives, because it's called Ramapo College, and the Ramapo Indians, right, which was a reservation very close there, was suing the Ford companies because the Ford companies were dumping in the 1970s through the mafia, the Italian mob. They were dumping in their land these metals. These metals, like, were getting, rainwater was coming down, the paint from these metals were seeping into the reservoir, and these people were showering in these metallic metal waters, and women were catching miscarriages immediately. Like, I'm talking about, like, I literally caught like 7 miscarriages. Like, how do you have 7 miscarriages? I tried to have a baby and I can't have a baby. Ovarian cancer, all types of cancers that was in this area. And I studied that because I took environmental science classes over there. That's another thing that I studied in India. I studied environmental science out there. But this is what the United States has been doing since the 1950s and 60s. And, you know, this is where Agent Orange and all that stuff comes from.
Right.
You know what I mean? It comes from these chemicals, and they're testing it out in India through these seeds. They were testing it out in our household products. They were testing it out in all types of things. But when the devil do things, like, he don't realize, you know, because he's dealing with 6, he's shooting himself in the foot a lot of times.
Right.
Because you think it's not, you're polluting the water, my man. You know, when you got aerosol cans spraying those things in the air, those aerosol cans, whether you want to believe in chemtrails or not, you don't have to. It's the fact that there's metals in those aerosol cans that you're spraying in the air. That those metals are seeping into the rainwater, right? The rainwater is going into the reservoir, and the reservoir is what we're showering with, cleaning our dishes with. You know what I mean?
Right.
And a lot of these places, right, in the United States and foreign lands, that same metal is going into crops. And we're eating that. We're eating the water that is, you know, yeah, this is organic land. We only use organic seeds here. Okay, how's your water system though? Is your water system providing, you know, the necessary hydration that it needs? Or is it using metal, like acidic, non-alkaline water? Obviously, you know, this is the sabotage that we live. We live in a sabotaged society right now.
And you see this firsthand, and you were short firsthand.
I learned about it in India because I happened to work with people who work with the United Nations, who were non-government organizations, whose sole purpose was to fix the damage that was done because of the Green Revolution. And this is what I went out there to study. I went out there to study mostly anthropological studies, you know, like going amongst the people, studying the culture. And I did an independent project in alternative education. Everybody had to do like a what do you call it, a dissertation. So I had to do my dissertation in alternative education. And because I came from a vocational school, remember I graduated from a vocational school here, it was very in line with my understanding of how education should be. You know, and my understanding of what education should be. And this is some of the reasons why I love to travel to places like China and things like that, because this is the things that I learned. These are the things. I'm an educator at heart. I love to teach. I love to educate. You know, so it's just something that I love to do. So when people go to these places, everybody grabs what they grab. You know, maybe you have a green thumb. I don't know, and maybe that's something you would have grabbed. You know what I mean? You were to travel, maybe you'd be attracted to that,
right,
or whatever. I'm attracted to the culture of education. You know, the culture of education.
If Mecca did this.